and building skills and governance. So how do we integrate that as young people, taking advantage of how big our number is in Africa and taking the advantage of the fact that we are the future?
Thank you so much. Sawubona, is it Sawubona? All right, so my name is Howard Boa. I'm a counseling psychologist from Malawi. And I can summarize what I got from yesterday in a few simple words. Health is wealth, and mental health is wealth. So that just highlights that as youth, we need to focus on having a healthy community, and that's why we are here. As long as we have a healthy community, as long as we're being healthy, mentally well, we're going to be able to develop as a country. And in the region, I have also noticed that we have the same sort of problems, issues. We're all facing the same things, and we're also doing work that is similar. So being youth in the region, there's a lot that we can leverage from that. We are all one people. Sure, thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. And I'm also thinking, how do we move from here after we shut the doors of this summit? How do we move from here?
All right, thank you so much. My name is Foster Mafiala, and I'm the youth advocate from Malawi. So what stood out for me yesterday was basically understanding the contextual analysis of things that are happening in different countries. As my brother pointed out there, that we're facing the same challenges: teenage pregnancies, child marriages, drug and substance abuse amongst us as young people. But one thing I think moving forward that we need to understand is that our governments have committed things at the African Union, at the global level, that's supposed to be implementing. One of the things is increasing domestic resources towards health, towards adolescent health. That's very critical if we are to address the challenges that we're facing now. So as our task as youth advocates, coming from different countries, if we are to hold accountable our governments in different ways, let's monitor what they're implementing. We should be sitting in these spaces, taking working groups, platforms that we are holding government to account to make sure that they're walking the talk to the commitments that they committed. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. I have someone over here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ian Wambe from Zimbabwe. And I wanted to say that I think from yesterday's conversation, I think the most important thing is that young people, we do have the demographic advantage, but we need to be deliberate about making that work. And how do we do so, especially when we have got existing policies that are so well crafted? What becomes our role in implementation of those policies? It is upon us as young people to also go out there, conscientize other young people who don't have access to platforms that we do on an everyday basis, especially looking at the fact that our young people, most of them are in rural areas where these conversations are so complex for them. The terminology is out of this world. It is upon us to cascade down the conversations for them to understand. Maybe that way, everyone will be on board. Thank you.
Thank you. You can go on.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Winfrida from Zambia. I think for me, the key takeaway is, first of all, the realization that there are already existing policies and we're not doing anything that is different, anything that is new. We're not initiating new things. And that there's already commitments that have been made. What's lacking is implementation. And so taking advantage of the demographics and what we're being told to say 60% is young people. We are the young people. I think the call to action is for each and every young person to make sure that they are in a position to not just influence but implement. And how do you do this? We're going back to our communities. We're going back to the rural communities. We're going back to our friends, and we're informing them of how this energy in this room of young people can be used for positive good, but how we can also respectively hold our leaders accountable and take part in conversations that are going to bring about change. And I think for me, what that really means is that as a young person who were challenged yesterday, you need to understand what these policies really mean. You need to understand what these commitments really mean. So as we go back, we need to go back and read, because you can't hold someone accountable for things that you do not understand. So it's very important that we go back to the drawing board. If there are any policies in our countries, in a region that we don't understand, it's very important that we go back to reading. It's very important that we get back to understanding and narrow it down to the language that a young person would understand. And then that way we would have a lot of young people that are going to be part of the conversation, that are going to be part of the implementation, and it will not look like we are forcing things. So the table is already there, the policies are already there. Let's just go back and read and act. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I think also, just to highlight, that's very, very important, guys. We're in this room. It is important that whatever you get here, you take it home to your people, to your peers, because we can't keep the information here. The others need to know. So let's focus on community-based work to share information. Thank you for that.
Thank you. My name is Precious, the president of the Young Women of Africa. From my takeaways yesterday, the first one was that from the three, firstly, the last sessions we had where we had to move to different mentors. From all of them, there was consensus that young people must move from being passive recipients of policy to active co-creators of solutions. That was the first ones. And the second one was the demographic dividend will remain an abstract concept unless governments invest deliberately in young people. And the other one was also intersectional solutions and approaches, that we do really need intersectional solutions and approaches for issues that young people are confronted with. And the last one is for young people to take accountability for everything, for their future, and to be active participants into the Africa that they want to create, and also the communities and countries that they want to create. Your network being what they say, a net worth, because most of the mentors, it was just because they were found in the right places and they are linked to the right people. It's not because, you know, they are so different from a lot of initiatives that young people have. They have the same ideas that a lot of other young people do have out there, but they have the correct networks, the correct links, and we need to, that should teach us to go for what we believe in and to ask young people to continue knocking to open doors until they get what they want. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And I so believe that you're also at the right place at the right time, because we have this advantage that we have with policymakers in the room, and it's very important that you can also build your networks from there. Let me have one person to just say something as we close this session.
Hi, my name is Masi Kamau from Kenya. I'm a digital health specialist. And my key takeaway yesterday was that we as the youth, it's high time we come out from the ideation phase into now the implementation and execution of the ideas that we have. And I learned that we already have the support system that we need from Africa CDC, from the Commonwealth, from the AUDA, NEPAD, and the SADC to help us into bringing into execution of the exact ideas that we have to enhance primary health delivery and also to strengthen the health systems. Thank you.
All right, as we close this session, Thunder. Come on. Are you guys tired? Should we do an energizer? You didn't hear? Okay, so now are you ready? Thunder, thunder, double thunder. Popcorn. Let's start again. Thunder, thunder, double thunder, rain. Beautiful. So at this juncture, allow me to introduce Miss Edith Sekonyela to take us through a panel discussion on the progress and persisting challenges on the issues of demographic dividend and sexual reproductive health. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Miss Edith. You can do better than that. You can definitely do better than that.
Dumelang bomme, bontate le batjha. Le phela hantle. Sanbonani. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As mentioned, my name is Konjwasi Edith Skwanyela. I'm from Lesotho. I work for Ministry of Health as one of the SRHR mentors. So, I'm so honored to be the moderator of this impactful session, where we are going to have a discussion on progress and challenges on challenges our youth are facing in regard to SRHR needs. So as we know that our part of our crucial objective of this summit is strengthening accountability mechanism for SRH service delivery, financing, and youth empowerment. So when it comes to our youth empowerment, we don't usually focus on those who are in schools, but we also, or we include those who are out of schools. So by saying that, I'm going to be joined by brilliant youth reps from our different countries, from Lesotho, Eswatini, Zambia, Malawi, and Kenya, who are going to enlighten us on what is really transpiring in their countries regarding the above mentioned topic. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ms. Sikhulile from Eswatini. Ms. Victoria from Zambia. Mr. Howard from Malawi. Yes, you're welcome. Dr. Gideon from Kenya. Finally, Ms. Mabakwena Mokhanto from Lesotho. Thank you so much. You are welcome, my dear panelists. Can you please just introduce yourself and what you and include what you are doing in your respective countries? You can start.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In Eswatini, we say Sanbonani, and you say Yebo. Sanbonani. Sanbonani. Ninjani. Now you got it. So my name is Tlachagos Kulile. I'm standing in front of you on behalf of the Eswatini National Youth Council, and I'm also representing the United Youth for Sustainable Globe Eswatini. I'm also the chairperson of the Youth Constituency through CCM. I'm implementing the Ready Plus program, and I'm a young person and advocate for menstrual health management and hygiene. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Sawubona. Mwadzuka bwanji. Tadzuka bwinoga ino. First of all, I would like to thank the African Union, Africa CDC, and ECSA Health Community for organizing this event and allowing me also to be on this panel. I would also like to say that my experience being here, I've really experienced the youth and the voices that have been here. I can really say that this is a regional youth summit. My name is Howard Boa. I am a counseling psychologist from Malawi. I am a mental health advocate, and I am also a founder of a youth-led mental health initiative called Mental Health Matters Malawi. Yeah, thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Victoria Mupinde. I am a licensed psychotherapist practicing in Zambia. I also run my own mental health center where we provide digital health solutions to clientele based in Zambia. Aside from that, I am also part of a National Mental Health Council board and also sitting on the board for the Zambia-US Exchange Alumni Association. But on the side, I really enjoy advocating for mental health. So by and large, I've been an advocate for mental health for the past 7 years of my career. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Sanibonani. Habari zenyu. Habari zenyu Swahili, you say mzuri sana. Habari zenyu? Okay, my name is Gideon Gashi. I'm a clinician and a lecturer. I'm also a global health advocate and a youth representative in Commonwealth and ECSA. It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Dumelang. Ha ke re dumelang, le re dumela mme kapo dumela ausi. Dumelang.
Dumela mme.
Dumelang.
Dumela mme.
Le phela jwang.
Re phela hantle mme wena o phela jwang.
Do you get that? Re phela hantle wena o phela jwang. That's I'm all right. How are you? I'm well, thank you. How are you? Le phela jwang. You guys are tired. Is it from the walk or what's going on? Nothing is going on. Dumelang.
Dumela mme.
Le phela jwang.
Re phela hantle mme wena o phela jwang.
Ke phela hantle ke a leboha. My name is Mabakwena Mokhanto. I'm a resident of Lesotho. I am a social worker by profession. I am also a mental health advocate and a youth rep for Lesotho in the ECSA. I am also the founder and the executive director of a waste management enterprise, Buluka Waste. We focus primarily or mainly with addressing the social and environmental issues through a holistic approach that's innovative and sustainable, looking at anything that will put our communities at a better place. I'm so excited to be here with these brilliant minds, colleagues, so thank you.
If you can see me, clap once. If you can see me, clap twice. Thank you so much. Now, let's roll. Starting with you, Victoria. Reflecting on the country's efforts to reducing barriers for youth SRH services in Zambia, what are the tangible progress have you seen in reaching young people with the information and services they need, inclusive of family planning, HIV prevention, and youth-friendly adolescent health corners?
Thank you. Thank you so much for that question. I think over the past 5 years, the Ministry of Health in the Republic of Zambia has been very, very instrumental in terms of collaborating with other organizations to reach populations that are far and wide. Aside from that, there has been a lot of introductions in terms of youth-friendly spaces. I can safely say that 70 to 90% of healthcare facilities at primary level have these youth-friendly spaces where support and capacity building is made to peer educators. This alone has made the work of the work easier because it's now no longer dependent on one particular body but peer educators across industries do carry out the work of educating and sensitizing people on HIV prevention, health-seeking behaviors, etc., etc. And also what has been introduced is an integration of support in terms of mental health services alongside supporting people living with HIV/AIDS, especially children. So with that, I would proudly give the Zambian government, through the Ministry of Health, a 10 out of 10. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A follow-up on that. Can you just clarify or enlighten us about our FP coverage in youth at Zambia? How is it, or how is the situation now?
So the situation tentatively is, I would put it at average. It's very, very good in terms of the reach of young people. There are also organizations, like I mentioned, that have been collaborating with the ministry, such as Phenomenal Youth Positive Association, which basically conducts its work at youth-friendly spaces. So in terms of the coverage and of the reach, because it's young people educating fellow young people, it's very, very effective. Unlike what was done in the past, where an older generation begins to take this role, but now young people are being mentored to educate their peers on HIV prevention, etc., etc. And right now, as we speak, I think something that has been going on for some time is targeting the rural audience. And we usually have traditional ceremonies, one of which is in Chwala, which is going to be set for the end of February or through March. And with that, the traditional leadership through the Ministry of Health have also collaborated, where they're providing young people with services such as PrEP, counseling, VCT testing, and also the education that they need. And with that, we might see a further drop in terms of the HIV rates, especially in that part of Zambia, which is like a rural area.
Thank you so much. Yes, as a follow-up on that, a little bit told me that Zambia has been implementing those community-based peer-led models and linking comprehensive sexuality education with youth-friendly services that have increased uptake of testing services in some of the settings in Zambia. So how can these youth-driven models be scaled up nationally? What do you think other countries can do or copy from Zambia?
The way the model works is that peers are trained to train others. So one learning point is basically being mentored to mentor others. So if 10 youths are mentored, for example, in Lusaka at George Clinic, those youths are trained to teach others to be educators. So for me, that is scaling up, because now we are not only focusing on a particular health facility, but it's easily spread out to other particular things. Of course, Zambia is not 10 out of 10, but we do invest in a lot of capacity building in short periods of time.
Thank you so much. So in regard to that, what policies or resource commitments are needed to ensure they reduce adolescent pregnancy and HIV incidence more broadly across urban and rural areas in Zambia?
So for policies, I think Zambia is at its best in terms of policy. I think what's there to do is just to enforce, like I said, and to keep capacity building with the peer educators. That way we can see a reduction on teenage pregnancies, early marriages. And the instance that I've mentioned of involving traditional leaders is what's going to greatly affect us, because the rural areas have been lacking behind, and just introducing testing during a traditional ceremony, I think that's a plus for Zambia already.
Okay. Thank you so much. Applaud. Can you please applaud for Zambia? And that's all I have for Zambia. Can we please give them showers? We know the sound of shower, like shh, right? Showers. Showers. Thank you so much. Ms. Mabakwena from Lesotho. There are challenges whereby there are commodity stockouts in most of African countries. So such issues inclusive of provider attitudes, stigma, and legal restrictions can limit SRH access for youth people. What specific system or social challenges are most acute in your national context, and how can they be addressed?
Okay, thank you so much. As I've mentioned before, I am Mabakwena, a representative of Lesotho in these discussions. It is known that Lesotho has a higher prevalence of HIV and AIDS, and this really puts youth and adolescent girls and young women, plus boys, at risk of conducting such. In addition to this, Lesotho has 22.7% of adolescent and youth disproportionately affected. Now, the age group is five times more likely to be vulnerable or prone to HIV and AIDS. Despite this risk, as you have mentioned, they face community stockouts. The Lesotho school health policy states that commodities are supposed to be supplied to schools. But we don't see that happening, especially in the rural communities in Lesotho. However, it is recommended that the Ministry of Health, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, see to it that such is addressed. Moving on, stigma, that's internalized self-stigma, and also provider attitudes is one of the barriers that prevent youth, adolescents from getting SRH services. It is reported that they are turned away or they are being judged at the health facilities, be it clinics or be it at the hospitals. This is to say that the environments are not youth-friendly. We have adolescent corners, but they also aren't as effective as they are supposed to be. Teenage pregnancy and early or unintended pregnancies, plus early marriages or forced marriages, are also some of the issues that we face. Culture also taps into that because young women or girls are not allowed by their parents or their in-laws to access such. Tradition, coupled with religion, also plays a bigger role in the access of such. So it is also important to note that these are kids or these are children below the age of 18. And the CPWA also says or talks about the rights of children, and there is a principle in there that also talks of best interest of a child. This means that when they do not have access to public health services, in our case, SRH, it is not in their best interests. Moving on, I'm copying. Moving on, we must make sure that as a country we review our policies. We make sure that it's not just written in paper, but the implementation we see. The action plans are executed so that we really get to the set goals or the set mandate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mabakwena, for that. That's all for you. When I say Atama, you clap once, okay? Atama? Atama? Thank you. So, Dr. Gideon? Kenya has been a strong producer of digital health innovation policy frameworks on SRH.
It has had high internet penetration. In fact, 27.4 million people have access to internet. And today, while we were jogging, we were sharing with our colleagues that even our buses, there's internet in our buses, internet in school, every house has an internet. And therefore, accessibility to internet in Kenya is usually very high. And on average, there's a research that was done showing that on average, people spend 3 to 6 hours on the internet. So how has the Ministry of Health and the population been able to leverage that? So there are several things that have been done. First of all is the institutionalization of the use of internet. So we have a lot of policies guiding who is supposed to guide young people on sexual and reproductive health issues. So not everyone is allowed to do that. And the platforms that are offering such services, they have to be guided. The other thing is integration of data tools. So information on sexual reproductive health is able to be captured and used to guide the ministry to come up with policy. We have also used the internet for capacity building and carrying out awareness about sexual and reproductive health. And lastly, we have a lot of platforms for writing SMS in case a lady has been assaulted. They reach via various social media platforms that have been availed in the country. Yes.
Thank you so much. 3 gloves. 3 gloves. Thank you so much. Mr. Howard, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Sure.
In your experience, how has youth leadership been included in national dialogues or strategies on demographic dividend and SRH in your country?
All right, thank you so much for that question. So I'm going to start saying that there's a lot of progress that is happening in Malawi. Previously, we were facing a lot of challenges. I'm going to give an example that previously we would have youth summits where there was no code design, there was no recognition of youth. There were youth summits where the youth were only involved in, say, singing songs, dancing, poetry, but you find that they were not really given a voice or a platform to speak. Decisions were already made, pre-made, and the youth were just used as a token to say they attended and this is what was decided. Currently, we are seeing a lot of progress in Malawi on this issue, and I think that has resulted out of such initiatives that we have today, such summits, such regional meetings. They have really started to show the results in Malawi. I'll give several examples. The first example that I can give is that we recently, in this year, had the first time when we had a pre-budget consultation meeting that was organized by the Minister of Finance involving youth. So this was a platform where youth were asked to give their inputs on the national budget for 2026-2027. This was the first time to happen in Malawi. And a lot of youth attended this meeting. They were youth leaders, and they gave their input. One of the major topics that came out was SRH. The funding for SRH was very low in previous years, and people were, the youth were asking government to increase the funding towards SRH, and government has given their commitments that this is going to be so in the budget of 2026-2027. Another example that I'll give is the Youth Innovation Fund. So this Youth Innovation Fund is a program that started last year in 2025, whereby the government is picking youth initiatives, organizations, entrepreneurs, and providing them with funds for them to run their initiatives and to create change within their communities. So the funds can be between 1 million Malawi kwacha to 30 million Malawi kwacha. So for those people that don't know, Malawi kwacha, 1 million is maybe somewhere close to $500 or $400. So the money might seem like it's small, but it has really pushed a lot of youth, because most youth just need a platform. They just need somewhere to start. So that's why the government saw that we need to give them funds to start the initiatives. So I can say that currently the program has supported about 150 youth innovations in Malawi. So that is in different sectors such as mining, climate change, tourism. So that has really injected a lot of activities in the youth. One more example that I can give is that the National Youth Council has been conducting online engagements and online webinars on demographic dividend and SRH. An example of a recent webinar was one which was titled "From Demographic Pressure to Demographic Power, Youth as the Engine for Malawi 2063. So in these webinars, they have been engaging with youth and youth leaders and youth networks, and also including some organizations such as AGRA and UNICEF. So just these are the policymakers, and to actually say it, we have really seen a lot of progress, especially with the National Youth Council, the government ministries, and people are now paying attention to youth voices. Sure.
Thank you so much. 3 claps. 3 claps. Miss Sikulile, what role should the National Youth Councils play to strengthen accountability and implementation of youth-centered SRH and demographic policies?
Thank you so much for the question. I will be talking to issues surrounding the National Youth Council, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, and parliamentarians. From the from the National Youth Council, they must ensure availability of the youth policy, incorporating SRHR as one of its key components and the implementation of the same. Now, the very critical one is to involve youth in policy design and monitoring. I will make an example. Just last week, we were reviewing the HIV risk reduction module, and in the room, we were asked the question to raise our hands if you've just touched the document. Now, I won't be searching for a document that I don't know, and I won't even searching for a document that I can't even reference to my daily work. The critical issue of it is we really need the risk reduction module, but we don't remember it being done. We don't remember the baby stages when it was developed, the engagements, the dialogue into the design of the document. Hence, as young people, and even implementers on the ground didn't even know about the module. Now the reviewing process really feels like just the baby steps, the first steps processes. That is why young people need to be involved in the design of policies, especially the ones that governs their day-to-day lifestyles. And also, the ENYC must support youth-led advocacy for SRHR through life skills education for in and out of school youth and mindset change programs. Because you can give me an income-generating project, but if my mind is still not into having to empower, I'm just making an example, empower the girl child, ensure that they make critical and well decisions, and also what do they do with the programs that they have and how it uplifts their lives through mindset change programs. You would find other income generating programs not reaching their full potentials because the young people were not transformed from grassroots levels. And other programs that starts, you find young people misusing funds because their mindsets were not strictly diverted into the outcome of that project. Why did you start the project? Also, just viewing life in general as a young person. You can be unemployed, but you also have got other life skills that can uplift your life on a daily basis. Maybe you didn't finish high school, but the Mindset Change program will divert your life choices to ensuring that at the end of the day, you do have a livelihood. The ENYC also need to ensure They have, though, also ensure involvement of young people as entrepreneurship beneficiaries through TVET programs, through micro-agricultural programs, and paid internship programs. I think Eswatini is doing well there because through other agencies now young people are empowered and capacitated to take up space in the professional level. I think also the mentorship that we receive, make use of, make an example of your UNDP programs. Also, if you get attached to the Ministry of Health, you'll be taught professionalism, etiquette, how do you carry yourself in the professional space, how do you ensure full deliverables just by day. It doesn't have to take a month. So I think those mentorship programs, those internship programs are ideal for us as young people in Eswatini, and also to highlight that they are paid internships. Because as a young person, if you're giving me an internship and I need to be at your offices for 3 to 6 months, I won't keep up, just to be clear and to be very concise. I won't keep up because I need to look the part, I need to present myself, I need to travel to work and from work. So luckily for us now, we do have paid internships, but the gaps in terms of TVET and the macro agriculture products, Skurila Tlajago cannot do agriculture projects, but I do want to take part in activities, in that project. So now we have pleaded with the ENYC to change our programs, not only center them through agriculture. I can own a very successful beauty parlor, and I can have customers. I also stay in the very busy centers of the country. Now imagine if the program had to open a salon for me, or maybe a beauty parlor, it would really give us a great output. Now coming to the Ministry of Health, they need to integrate youth-friendly SRHR services into healthcare across, thereby increasing accessibility to services by all. That will reduce mobility and mortality. They also need to train healthcare providers, which they did do a great job on that one, especially on youth-friendliness, because we also have got AGYWs that are in school who need to access SRHR services in our healthcare centers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shawas. This is the end of our session, and thank you, everyone. As I conclude, I'd like to acknowledge and appreciate our good work that our countries are doing in terms of SRHR in youth. So let's remember that our youth has a right to education so that they can do informed decision. They have a right to affordable health services, and lastly, they have to be empowered. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please give them a round of applause as they walk down.
You can go, thank you.
These are our representatives, ladies and gentlemen, and they have been presenting about the amazing work and strides that we have been doing in the different countries. And they also presented an opportunity for us to learn what can we take from them and do in our countries to make ourselves better as young people. A quick announcement, ladies and gentlemen. It's day 2 today, so please do sign the register outside. So if you walked in and went straight to your seat and you haven't signed the register outside at the desk, please do make sure you sign for day 2. Are we okay? Are we okay? Are we fine? Okay. So we are moving. I'm glad we are moving. And we are starting the best parts now, where we are building capacity for ourselves, right? Through other youth leaders. So ladies and gentlemen, I won't waste any time. Please buckle up, because you are about to be overloaded with information that you'll be taking home. And if you feel like you're too far, come closer, because now maybe you need to hear. If you're interested in digital stuff, digital innovation, using the online platform, how to come up with videos, how to create content, this is your time to be attentive. So the person who is going to be leading and facilitating this training #1 on digital innovation is none other than the CEO of Dalmas Creations, Sean Dalmas. Please give him a round of applause. Remember the register.
Hello? Okay. Good morning. Good morning. How are we? How are we feeling? So we're gonna do a little exercise because you guys are a little bit quiet on this side. So we're gonna do traffic lights. If you're feeling green, it means you're good. If you're feeling amber, it means you're there. If you're feeling red, you're down. So just shout whichever part of the traffic light you're feeling. We don't have rainbow. Red, amber, green. Yes, okay. Now, we're going to do an interactive session. I don't want it to look as if it's some training. I'm teaching you guys what digital is, everything that we are doing. Our phones we are all in the digital era. So I want to believe we all know what we are doing. So, let's speak on what digital is. So, can I have some mics going around? In your own simplest terms, what's digital? What's digital? I want someone to tell me what's digital, someone else to tell me what's advocacy, and someone else to tell me what's social media. Digital, advocacy, social media. Just those three things. Anybody? 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 We have Blessing. What are you telling us? Digital, advocacy, social media? Social media. Someone to tell me advocacy? Advocacy there. Someone to tell me digital. Let's be quick, guys. Let's be quick, guys. So we have advocacy there. Someone for digital? Someone to tell me what's digital in the most simplest term possible. At the end? Perfect. So kindly tell us your name, what's digital in your own words. She will tell us what's advocacy. You'll tell us what's social media. Go.
Hello, I'm Bembe Nomkosi. I think in my own words, digital is anything that is electronic and that can be used to whether generate or store data.
Okay, thank you. Let's give a round of applause. Advocacy, my dear.
Advocacy is the process of influencing decision makers and the attitudes of people. It's about taking up space and standing up.
Perfect. Give her a round of applause. Blessing, what's social media?
Thank you very much. My name is Blessing Bwalia from Zambia. Social media is a space in which people can get to interact either with other people or with information and data. So it's basically just a space that enables interaction just from the word social. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Now we can move. Okay. So this session is supposed to be around digital innovation and advocacy skills training. When I saw this in the program, I was very quick to tell Lemmy, I'll do it. Because this is right up my alley. It's what I do every single day in the company. So Dalmas Creations is a media marketing and communications and PR company based in Nairobi. It's an international company. We've worked with very many brands and corporates and NGOs in pushing their message in digital platforms, social media, and their advocacy. So when it comes to digital innovation and advocacy, it's how we use the digital tools that we have, as she said, our phones, our laptops, media, social media, as Blessing told us, in ways to push the agenda that the lady here has told us. So digital advocacy and digital innovation and advocacy, we're going to have basic trainings about how we use the digital tools we have and the innovations that have come about to push the advocacy and the agenda that we have. This is, we're about to have a youth-led tool for communication, communicating the demographic dividend, from awareness to accountability to action. Are we ready? Okay. Now, why this session matters. Africa's youth bulge in a time-bound economic opportunity. One key thing that I tell everyone in my team and even back home is the one key thing that we have for our generation is digital. We've grown up in the digital era. I feel like some of us didn't need to be taught how to use a phone. The older generation in the room, sorry, lack of a better word, had to be taught how to type. You had to be taught how to use a typewriter and a keyboard and a mouse, etc. I remember when I was in like grade 1, we had like computer lessons. In my country, they were scratched out. There is nothing like computer lessons. You should really know how it works because we've been brought up in that era. It comes, it's like second nature. It's like breathing. And digital advocacy is now a policy instrument, not a communications afterthought. Before, the communication departments of different organizations and companies only had their digital advocacy team as a small team that tells them, so you post this on social media, you add this on our website, you put this up on X, on Facebook, so that people can actually see that we are doing work all around the continent. But we've come at a point where social media and the digital tools that different companies have at the palm of their hands are being used to push a whole entire agenda. Now, before we move on to the slides, I'd like to hear from the room. Which are we've had very many advocacy campaigns done Africa-wide. Which are the ones that you can mention right at the top of your head? They were done either on social media. Let's speak of social media. Yes. End Femicide campaign that was done in Kenya. We've done it 2 years in a row. It blew up worldwide. We were featured on BBC Africa, and we were featured on very many other international stations because women went out to the streets. They were protesting against femicide in Kenya. And it only went as viral as it did because Gen Zs were recording, they were posting, and everyone knew that this was happening in Kenya. You could not be quiet about it. Number 2, yes? So there's someone who was shouting somewhere. Occupy. Occupy Parliament, that was in Kenya as well. Yes? Say no to GBV country. Seychelles. Yes? Fees? Fees must fall in South Africa. And then the GBV, which was the Purple campaign. Yes, that is what I was getting at. The Purple campaign was a massive campaign that till date, there are very many women who have purple profile pictures on their social media, right? That is a very key example of how social media transformed an entire country to become an entire regional movement against what's happening with my presentation? Sorry. Yes. So that is what we are basically talking about here. That is in the most simplest way possible. That is basically what we are talking about here. Digital advocacy has come about in a sense where digital advocacy is not social media noise. It's not just noise that we make a post, we are trying to make it trend. It's not just noise around an agenda that you're trying to push forward on social media because you know youths are there or people are watching. Digital advocacy are systems that are built behind your organization. It's evidence, it's storytelling, it's pressure, it's the feedback that you're getting from the comments and the engagements, etc. These are very many ways that we have, just a minute, I have nothing else that was going on social media in Kenya but the fact that my sister was killed, my mother was killed, my auntie it was a very sad time. No one actually wanted to open social media because it was like you're just entering it's someone new who has died, someone new who has been slaughtered somewhere. What happens if we do nothing? We would have had continued killings. Same thing to the Purple campaign in South Africa. There was a problem at hand. It was affecting the women. We had evidence to support it. There was clear evidence that was supporting it. And even in their campaigns, they kept on saying, if we do nothing, this will keep on affecting our women. Right? So South Africa was at a point where they could not keep quiet about this. And they had to, they didn't know that the entire region would come to back them, but they did. And that showed the support of youths. And I'm using that because it was youths who actually came together in social media to say, guys, it is not happening in my country, but I feel what you're going through. I'll change my profile picture. I will post about it. I will share the message. Governments were also printing this in our papers in the different countries. We're having conferences about it. We're having meetings about it on how they could make sure such a thing that's happening in South Africa does not happen in their own countries. I know Kenya as an example. We had countless number of meetings with government officials trying to make sure that this does not get to us. It showed the extent at which what one video, what one post can do in changing an idea. Are we moving forward? Because this, yes, okay, stick back, okay. Now, I would like us to have, again, I'm trying to make this a more interactive session so that we all get to understand what we are doing here. Now, in one sentence, what does digital innovation mean in the work that you're currently doing in the different organizations and companies that you do? Do you have digital innovation tools? Do you have digital innovation mechanisms that go around, whether it's in social media, whether it's in AI tools that you use, do you have any? Do you have any systems that you can say we have digital innovation in the work that we do?
Dalmas,
if you said yes, yes.
They're asking, what's the question?
The question here is, what does digital innovation mean in your work? In the work that you do, what does digital innovation mean in the work that you do? Yes, Blessing? There is a lady at the far end as well. What does digital innovation mean in the work that you do?
All right, so for us, I work for Youth Wave Malawi as a volunteer, of course. When we sat down, we thought it wise, how can we also reach to the young people in the urban areas, but also some in the rural who have access to digital tools like phones. So for us, we started a podcast on youth issues. So we usually invite experts who come on our podcast to share some of the issues happening when it comes to SRHR. So for instance, there was a point where we invited a certain lawyer to come and interpret some of the policy frameworks that we have, particularly the Penal Code, in relation to the Gender Equality Act and sexual gender-based violence that was happening in the country. So we wanted young people to have access to this information using our podcast. So we are using this podcast as a tool to raise awareness on legal and policy frameworks, but also to allow young people to share their views on how these policy frameworks are affecting them, because some of them are a little bit restrictive and would love the government to review them and change them and make some of the amendments to fit the context.
Perfect. Give her a round of applause. That is amazing. One key thing that we've seen, I work with one of the companies that one of the clients that my company has is Spotify. And when we were doing a recent strategic meeting with Spotify and the data that was collected, we had to analyze what side of Spotify is working better. Is it the music side? Is it the podcast side? And we realized, in as much as music is always doing well, but there was a huge spike of 12% on podcasts. And out of those 12%, 10% came from Gen Zs, young people, and younger millennials. That showed to Spotify the extent at which young people are really tuning in to listen to podcasts, to long-form type of content that are engaging, that are informative, that actually give them the information that they need. So that is a very key direction that your team took in a way that actually has young people in it to listen to the information. Next.
Okay, good morning. Thank you so much. For us in Eswatini, we have, excuse me, I'm Zandile Masangan from the Ministry of Health. For us in Eswatini, we have the mobile social accountability monitoring that we have mounted in different selected healthcare facilities that complements the provision of youth-friendly services in our healthcare facilities. So the young people, when they come to the facility, they register, and then they share information. They actually give us feedback through the model when they leave the facility. They give us feedback on how the services were, and then what they came for in the facility, what services did they access. And then we are able to give them feedback whilst they are at home because they have registered in the model. So now this helps us in the country to improve the friendliness within the facility. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Give a round of applause. Someone who has something that has not been said. We have one lady here and one lady here. Where are the gents? Where are the male gender? Boy,
Yes.
child.
You
This,
know,
yes, huh?
Women, we are good in social medias, you know. It's our thing. Yeah.
Mike.
Hello, everyone. My name is Edna Mwemutsi from the United Republic of Tanzania. And we work closely with youth in terms of sexual reproductive health. With our organization is their organization. One challenge that we recognized in the community was the fact that youth were complaining that they could not reach the government that were dealing with sexual reproductive health and HIV prevention. Particularly for Tanzania, it's the NASHCOP, Ministry of Health, and TACAIDS, the Tanzania Commission of AIDS. So what we did was we collaborated with this ministry to have weekly Instagram session where youth, they could join and they could ask questions directly to the Ministry of Health and TACAIDS. Now, how do we get the topics to discuss? We have regional youth WhatsApp group from each region we have. So we go and ask them questions, and the topics that show up frequently, we compile them into one topic with collaboration with these two ministries. So this has really helped to fill in the gap between the youth and the government entities. Thank you.
Clock it. I love that. I love that. There was one last lady here, so that I move on quickly. Who is going? Huh? Okay. Yeah, whoever, they need to decide amongst themselves. Yes,
Okay, so my name is Nsambuani from Zambia. And one of the things that we do on social media to influence policy, we do storytelling. Because we've realized to say storytelling is very important in the digital space. It's very easy for you to influence policy when a story is told. So for example, if you have a young girl that wants to tell their story, of course with their consent, you can actually post that and they can easily be helped or anything. So we've had people get helped through storytelling.
Perfect. Thank you. Now, from what I've had everyone share, I've had access to information with the podcasts. I've had data collection and connection with their customers and clients. I've had speed and reach to young people on the platforms that they're on, which was Instagram. I've had participation with storytelling. Let me add one more thing that often gets missed on how digital innovation comes in: accountability. Accountability is tackled very easily when digital comes to play. Data is collected that can be used in reports. Accountability has been done. Storytelling of how the impact has been made in that person's life. A story has been told, so work was done. Accountability has been met. Data collection, speed, and the reach with their audience as they're doing the live sessions with their governments, that is accountability. Because if we have a live session with a minister and the people from the organization, and it is streamed live, everyone has access to it. So you cannot come back 3 months later and say, I didn't say that. Oh, everyone knows. Our phones screen record conversations. We've even seen nowadays the view once in WhatsApp, there's a way it can be reversed. So you cannot lie. There's there's a way the view once can be reversed. We can see what you sent, how you deleted a message. Digital innovation is at a time where accountability has to be withheld within our ministries, within our organizations, within our partners, within our donors. Over the last 3 years, digital advocacy has evolved very quickly. And I'm going to highlight a few shifts that matter to specifically the SRH and demographic dividend. As we look on the screen, we have AI in advocacy. Since 2023 to 2026, AI has really changed, really, really changed. We've seen what AI can do. We've seen what AI, I saw a video of my president dancing in the shower, and I was like, wow, people are creative with AI. We've seen what AI can do. But bringing it down to what it can do in the SRHR space, we have AI chatbots for SRH information, making information very accessible to everyone. The same way you can go to ChatGPT and ask the most random questions, including making ChatGPT your therapist. I know, ChatGPT is my therapist, it's okay. It's the same way we have AI chatbots that can be used to make sure that SRH information is very accessible to everyone. We have policy explainers simplified for youth. We know SRHR terminologies and lingo can be very huge. I know some people had to Google like 6 times what demographic dividend is before they came here. You're not alone. It's okay. But this AI has really made it very simple for us to simplify this information in the most simplest way possible so that everyone can understand what is needed of you, what is required of you, and how certain policies affect each and every person that we have. The AI and the automation space has allowed us to analyze engagement data to target decision makers more precisely. One thing that I really push my team for is data collection. It's what the US government was trying to buy with TikTok. Data collection. Data is a very, very key thing in anything that we do, in any policy that we are trying to make, in any fundamentals that we are trying to build. Data is very key. So in the collection of data, it has made it very, very easy to target decision makers more precisely. And I'll give an example with my team. We have an AI tool called AI-Fluence. AI-Fluence is used in the different campaigns that we've done with UNAIDS, where the AI tool has to go down to the grassroots to get the information that we need, so that any campaign that we do, any data that we push out, any policy that these UN agencies are trying to formulate are actually collected with what? Data. it actually comes from the data that has been collected from the people. It's not big people just sitting in rooms and deciding, oh, we are making policies. And I loved what the UNFPA lady said on this stand. We are not a one-size-fits-all region. We are even in your own countries, you are not a one-size-fits-all. People who live in urban areas, people who live in rural areas, people who live in rural urban. We are not a one-size-fits-all. So data collection is very key within the different movements that we are in, to allow us to know that this policy is coming down to affect this set of data that was collected, because that is what they need. It's not what everybody needs. Are we together? Secondly, we have short-form video as policy language, and that is what she touched on as storytelling. One thing that in the space of marketing and media, I started out as a content creator. I started out making videos, the usual that you see everyone doing, dancing on TikTok. I mean, TikTok used to be a dancing app. Right now, we're making millions of dollars from TikTok. That's how I started out as a creator. And I've moved my platform from just creating content that is for fun to a platform that, one, shapes policies with governments and board agencies that I work with. Two, shifts perspectives for the youths on what we're trying to push out. Every campaign that we do in Kenya, the finance bill, the femicide campaign, I and very many other influencers, quote unquote creators, have used our platform because we know the type of influence we have with our audiences. Thirdly, generation of income. The first funding that Empowerment Africa got for just doing policies, strategies, etc., getting consultants to come in and do 1, 2, 3 things, was from revenue that was generated on my platform. We have people in Kenya who generate a revenue of nearly $100,000 a month from just their social media platforms. Is in that resource mobilization that I will touch on in a few slides going down. There are very many ways that social media and pushing out of short-form content can be used. Ministers, advisors, parliamentaries consume this content. And that is why in Kenya, and I will use my country as an example because it's worked. That is why in Kenya, we really depend on short-form content and TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts because we understand the magnitude at which our social media actually pushes out information in our country. Our ministers, our donors, our funders, they watch this content. So trust you me, one day, one time, you'll pop up on someone's FYP. You're telling your story, and someone will be like, huh. And right now we are at a stage where we build our own algorithms. You can build how you want your algorithm to look. If you want your algorithm to give you a certain set of content, it will give you that. So if you're pushing a certain set of content with people who are looking for that set of content, you will reach the right people. Are we together? We have data visualization for accountability. I already touched on that. It allows us to keep scorecards, dashboards, and interactive maps within the movement. I will not go much into that. We have influencer-led advocacy, credibility plus reach and consistency. I'll give a basic example. There was a video that Dr. Ntuli was very happy to circulate within, as we were preparing for this conference. It was a video that I did in a pink suit. Yes, that was me. When I was advertising for this conference. The video went viral, and very many people registered for the conference because they saw that video, and there are very many people who back home asked questions about the conference because of that video. That is one example where credibility has been put because I've attended these spaces, so people trusted my word in saying that there's a conference happening in Eswatini. We know there are scammers out here that they say there's a conference, register for $50. I mean, so many things has happened to us, right? So that builds credibility. It builds reach. That video got to $250,000 views on just one platform. Now imagine if you had 10 people like Sean Dalmas doing a video like that. If you had 5 people, it creates reach and consistency. Consistency comes in where you have frequently postings of such videos around the advocacy that you do, around the message that you're trying to push out, and around the storytelling that you're trying to tell your audience and your communities. And lastly, we have digital participation tools. We have online consultations, webinars that can be done. We have WhatsApp feedback, SMS surveys. That's data collection. If there's one thing that I want you to take out of everything that I have said here today is data collection. Because data is what is going to allow you. When someone gives feedback, that's data. When someone say, even there was a survey that was being done, Gloria, right? Gloria? You are doing a survey to understand how people, their expectation. That was data collection. That is going to help the ECSA team go back and do their reports. Data collection. Quickly moving. I already touched on this. Examples of countries and organizations that have done digital advocacy campaigns. We have South Africa with the gender-based violence and femicide digital mobilization. We have the Purple Readable campaigns. We have strong integration of civil society and digital storytelling. South Africa does this very well. I am partnering with over 10 organizations in South Africa this year to push out their digital storytelling. Only. There's nothing else I'm doing for them but digital storytelling. Because information can be structured in such a manner that it is authentic, it is raw, and it moves opinions and lives of people. In Kenya, we had the End Femicide campaign. We had the youth-led digital pressure leading to parliamentary debate. We went to the streets. We burnt our parliament. People lost lives, yes, but things moved out of that. We have influencers and NGOs plus data storytelling within Kenya that we've done. UN agencies, we have the UNFPA who have youth-led digital toolkits. We partnered with them in Ghana for the ECSA conference. We had the WHO digital dashboards. This is actually a dashboard that can be accessed by anyone on their website. And then we have the AU youth engagement platforms. Actually, the AUDA-NEPAD team spoke about it yesterday. Why digital advocacy matters for SRH and demographic dividend. We have reduced SRH stigma. The more we talk about it, you see, the more we talked about HIV to a point right now, it has reduced stigma. We have people like Doreen Mora, if you've met Doreen Mora in the space, who speaks about the fact that she lived with HIV she's been living with HIV for her whole life. And it doesn't bother anyone right now. The more you speak about something, the more we have authentic, raw stories told in this space, it reduces the stigma around it. Because why is it we are not talking about SRH? Why is it it's taken us this long? Because people don't talk about it. Increased service uptake, track financing gaps, I spoke about this earlier on, and hold institutions accountable. A policy that we have within the Dalmas Creations team is you cannot unlock the demographic dividend without making SRH visible, measurable, and unavoidable. It has to be something that you can see people talking about, you can see people doing. It has to be measurable. Are we measuring the impact that we are doing? And it has to be unavoidable. Shout it to a point that your government cannot shut you up. Are we together? This was supposed to be an interactive session, but I've been told time is not on my side. Yes, so I will move quickly. Crafting a youth message for policymakers. I'll just give this formula because I know this was part of the thing that we're supposed to do. Speak policy language. When you're coming up with your digital campaigns, you need to speak the policy language. There's a way that it attracts different donors, partners, ministers. So you need, in as much as you're narrowing down the information to the most easiest accessible way to anyone, it needs to speak to policy. Use youth voice. Please do not use a 40-year-old who has been in this industry for I don't know how many years. I don't care. Use a youth person. Please, because you're trying to push an agenda for the youth. As my colleague Sally said yesterday. Please repeat what you said. Nothing for youth? Thank you. Demand action. In Dalmas Creations as well, we have a policy in this where we see investing in youth-friendly SRH services is not social spending, it is economic policy. And there was a presenter here who spoke about mental health and the great things that Kenya was doing. It was you. Hi. Now, that same data that he was talking about Kenya investing in our mental health and it actually showed a return on investment is the same thing with our SRH space. The more we have been investing in our SRH has shown a return on investment. As we close, designing a digital SRH campaign, this was supposed to be a core exercise, but with due time, you can see me on the side. I could talk to you through this. We can do it together. But there are infographics, short videos that can be done, influencer partnerships. I was speaking to the Audanepa team yesterday, if you'll allow me to use this as an example, and I was telling them, we have influencers that we just see, they're posting their pretty faces, their big bums on social media, but there's a way we can actually use their platforms for our advantage, because you follow them, and you're in this space. But so why aren't we using their platforms to push this message? We know they have big platforms. We know it can change ideas. It can, because if this person is telling you to go and buy oil and foundations, makeup for $150 that you will have to take a loan for, I'm pretty sure they can change your perspective about SRH. Am I right? Exactly. These are some of the work that was done in terms of infographics. There's one key thing. This was trying to show you that if I cannot understand what you're trying to push out in one page, you're making too much noise. Donors, one thing that I've sat down with donors in rooms, they don't have time to read a 37-page proposal. They don't, because they are reviewing 100 other proposals. You need to make sense for them in the most fastest and simplest way possible. What you're doing, what you're trying to achieve, the evidence of what you've done, and how you're going to get them the goal that you want. The next slide shows, the next slide is a very important slide that I just want to finish it, please, and then I close. This is something that we are currently working on with TikTok. TikTok opened a TikTok Youth Council that works for safer internet consumption. And this was a conversation we were having yesterday when we were saying, you can push out the wrong information and it will trend. Everyone will talk about it. Push out the right information. Tell me. It will not trend at all. So we are partnering with TikTok to actually curb that. How can we, in the fastest way possible, push down the wrong information, and when the right information is being posted, it goes viral. One keyword from one of our key influencers that we've used in the UNAID space and the UNDP space is, I use my platform to translate policies into youth understandable narratives. She's one of our influencers in Kenya with a platform of nearly 100,000 on one platform and another. And we've used her in different campaigns that we've done. And that is what she keeps on saying when she's going to rooms. I use my platform to translate policy into youth understandable narratives. It's that simple. And people ask questions, interact on her page, go to her comments, and it works. Data, I already spoke about this before, and I think I am actually done, right? Yes.
Yes.
One thing that we say is digital innovation is no longer optional. Youths are no longer observers. The demographic dividend will be unlocked by those who can communicate, mobilize, and hold system accountable at scale. Thank you.
Thank you. Please give him a round of applause, guys. You can do better than this. Come on. Literally an average of 3 to 6 hours a day we spend on social media. I cannot further emphasize how significant this session was, because if you can spend so much time, so much money, and so much of your resources, surely you can do something to promote sexual and reproductive health in your platform, right? Are we together? So I am sure some people are going to be seeing Sean for more. And probably, Sean, there's a request that do something practical, like maybe you can prepare something small to show how you actually create an Instagram reel or a TikTok reel or whatever. Just something very short. We'll look into time as the day goes by. Thank you for that. So something that they can visually remember on what to do, how I can do it. thank you so much for that presentation. As young people, I know I spent not even the 6 hours, probably 8 hours on my phone. So this is what I needed, definitely. So that I don't waste any more time, today we're rushing ahead. People want to explore the heaven. So on to our next training, which is training number 2, leadership, public speaking, and personal branding. Micro training, and this one will be facilitated by Mr. Jonathan Ndali. So some of you can finally know how it feels like to stand here and speak, you know. I'm sure he'll give you those tips. So please give him a round of applause as he comes up. You can do better than that, guys. Thank you, Mr. Ndali.
Sangbonani. Ulibwanji. Mambo. Good morning. Please do me a favor. Turn to your neighbor and tell them something nice. You look nice. Tell them you smell good. Yeah. Compliment them. Nice haircut. I like your wig. All right, good. Now that's the first thing. The second thing, she doesn't have compliment on the glasses or earrings, you know. Now the second thing you need to do is look at your neighbor and tell them something nice about them. Just anything nice. Maybe something you observed. Great. Finally, the last activity. Now, this time around, turn to the person seated on your right and left and just smile. Don't say a word, just smile. I hope you brushed your teeth this morning. If you didn't, please don't open your mouth, just smile. Beautiful, beautiful. I am honored to be here this morning. I will come later and introduce myself thoroughly, but right about now, I just want to introduce the session and invite a friend and a brother of mine to come and lay the foundation, and then I will come back and we'll have the best time of the 2-day session. All right? How many of you want to have the best time? Okay, great. So this session is about leadership, public speaking, and personal development. Say personal branding. Say personal branding. Very beautiful. So here is a leader, okay? Now, it is very important and paramount to know how to present yourself in terms of your speaking, in terms of your caliber, in terms of how you express your ideas, especially in front of people. Are we together? If I was in church, I would have said, hallelujah. Somebody put your hands together for Jesus. Aha, okay, it's time for offering. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, please allow me to introduce to the stage a very good friend and a brother of mine. Put your hands together for Joram Nkumbi. He's going to be sharing a little bit about the symbiotic relationship between leadership and public speaking. Brother Joram, please, oh, come on, you can do better than that. Put your hands together. All right.
Good morning, everyone. I am immeasurably happy to stand before you today. And I'm going to lay a foundation like what my brother has just said, Jonathan Ndali. And we are going to talk about leadership and also public speaking. As we are shifting from the past towards the future, leadership will be more relevant 100 years from today than today. In a health summit like this, the reason why we have included the topic of leadership is because leadership is very important. It's the solid foundation through which you can build anything on top of it. Without better leadership in all levels of society, we'll never be able to realize a better world. And when you read history, the history of mankind is simply a history of its leaders. The kings, the prophets, the pharaohs, the president, the prime ministers, all these people, they either led a society that allowed them to experience harmony, or they led a society to experience destruction and chaos. And if I was to define leadership, my dear brothers and sisters, leadership is the capacity to influence people to do something which is beneficial to them. The ability to translate a vision into a reality. That is what we call leadership. You can't become a leader without a title, and you can become a leader without a position, so long as you have positive influence. And leadership, therefore, the greatest measure of leadership is the ability to get other people participating. If you can get people participating in anything, then you are a leader. And if you are leading and no one is following you, you are just taking a walk in the park. Lazima kuwe kuna watu wanakufuata. Why do we focus on leadership? I have already explained. And according to the definition of Miles Monroe, leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by a passion, generated by a vision, produced by a conviction, and ignited by a purpose. In order for you to become a leader, you must have a vision, a big picture, the kind of person you would love to become, and the kind of person you would love people to say about you when you are no more. What would you like people to say about you when you are dead and gone, when you are no more? Today we remember people like Nelson Mandela. We remember people like Julius Nyerere, Kwame Nkrumah, because of their vision. They wanted to unite this continent. They wanted to unite people and to create a better world. So what is your vision? What is your big picture? What do you want to achieve in your life? All these questions, they relate with leadership. As we are moving towards the future, leaders will be those who empower others. Tena alisema Bill Gates. As you can see, these are my books. I have authored them and they are available. They are available on Amazon. I'm also a social media person, even though I don't like social media. I have an audience of 240,000 followers on Instagram, 185,000 followers on Facebook, and 89,000 followers on TikTok. I do not like social media, but I understand the importance of social media. These are the tools through which we communicate our ideas. These are the tools through which we engage with our fellow countrymen and women. And this is also a tool for us to test our ideas. If you think your ideas are right, if you think your message is okay, test on the social media and you see the reactions. So who is a leader, my dear brothers and sisters? If you can inspire other people to think more, to do more, and become more, then you are a leader. A leader knows the way, a leader shows the way, and a leader goes the way. However, how much you try, to influence people to become something or to awaken certain qualities in people, you will not be able to do that if you do not possess the same qualities within you. And therefore, you cannot give what you do not have. That's why I said leadership is the foundation through which you can build anything on top of it. Leadership is about character. Leadership is about integrity. Leadership is about what people see in you. Leadership is like the backbone in your body. Once it collapses, the entire body collapses. So in the second part of my presentation is about public speaking. And public speaking is an art through which we communicate and communicate effectively to an audience. You cannot be a good communicator if you are not a leader. These things, they go together. You cannot have the confidence to stand before people if you're not the leader. Confidence comes from the within. When you know deep inside your heart, things are all right, and what you're saying is what you're doing, you will naturally have the confidence. But if you try to maneuver and you try to manipulate people, trying to awaken something you're not, whatever you speak will just land in their head and will have no impact. So, in order for you to become an effective public speaker, you must reflect what you are trying to tell other people. So leadership strengthens communication power. Public speaking strengthens leadership impact, the symbiotic relationship between public speaking and the leadership. And I want us to consider people like Nelson Mandela, people like Martin Luther King Jr. These were the leaders, but also they were orators, great orators of our time. They were just speaking, not words, but they carried the spirit. You could listen and get inspired. They were not only trying to motivate people or to manipulate people. If you listen to Martin Luther King Jr., I have a dream. The way he was communicating it, he was communicating life. So if you want to become an effective public speaker, think about the following before you want to communicate to them. Will your message connect with people? Will it leave an impact on them? Are you considerate in your speeches? And will it have an impact on them? That's why you should be scared every time when you're invited to speak before people. Because when you open up your mouth, you can either heal somebody or you can destroy someone. It is through the speeches of our leaders that have caused people to go into war and has caused people to go into peaceful agreement. So when you open up your mouth, you tell the world who you really are. You reveal yourself, and therefore you should consider preparing yourself before you speak anything. And we must speak with a lot of humility, not with arrogance. We must speak boldly, but with humility. Through that, we'll be able to transform our societies and to transform our communities. These are some of the things that you can consider, the tips that you can consider if you want to become an effective public speaker. Practice 2 or 3 times a day. Aim to spend less than 5% of your time looking for the notes. You know, sometimes we care so much about the formality. We prepare speeches. We put data and information. And when we are invited on the podium, we rely on what we have written down. It is good because you don't want to miss. But the connection with people is the most important thing. They must see your feelings, your emotions, your vulnerability. Don't lose a sense of yourself by relying so much on the data. And I'm told time is not enough. And Madame there is terrifying me. Thank you very much for being attentive, and God bless you.
Wait, just a minute. Please come up. Guys, now I'm going to teach you how to do it the way we do it in Tanzania, all right? Please come. You pay a lot of dollars, right, to get such a lesson. Now, in Zimbabwe, it was what? Rain, thunder, right? And then there was the other one, shower. Now, for us, hold this for me. We say pasha. Say pasha.
Pasha.
So, to pasha is to warm up. So, do this. Warm. And then, when I say choma, you do? Okay? Let's try to do that for our brother Joram. Pasha. Pasha, hit it up. Choma. Now, that's choma once. So, if I say choma 3 times, you do pa. Let's try one more time. Pasha. Choma 3 times. Thank you so much, Brother Joram. Come on, let's put our hands together for him. Great. Now, that was amazing. I wanted him to lay a foundation of what leadership is and the symbiotic relationship between leadership and public speaking. So let me begin by introducing myself, and I'm going to build from where Joram has left off. All right? Please turn to your neighbor and say, fasten your seatbelt. If you don't have one, I can borrow you. Tell the other one that looks like a churchy person, say, hey, may God help you. Guys, are you ready there? All right, so my name is Jonathan Ndali, and when God created me and planted me on this planet Earth, he gave me 2 mandates. Mandate number 1 was to build people. Mandate number 2 was to equip leaders. So everything that I do, I build people and I equip. Why so? Because these are the philosophies I live by in life. The first one, there was a king many years ago in the nation of Israel. His name is King Solomon. He said, as a person thinks in his heart, finish for me, so is he. So if you think you are stupid, so are. If you think you are rich, so are. If you think you are beautiful, so are. So my job is to revolutionize your thoughts in order for you to be able to see yourself the way you are supposed to see yourself. That's number 1. Number 2, building leaders. Why? Because I believe everything rises and falls on leadership. If an institution fails, check leadership. If a marriage fails, check leadership. If a nation fails, check. How many of you here are in a relationship? Raise up your hand if you're in a relationship and you're not afraid or ashamed of your spouse. Happily in a relationship, raise up your hand. And I'm watching you and the heaven is watching you. If you lie, thunder go strike you. Okay, if that relationship fails, the problem is more or less leadership. And it's what Joram has laid a foundation of what leadership is. Are we together? So now I want everybody to find a, okay, I was still in the introduction, right? Yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I'm an author as well. I wrote my first book. I have 2 books. Unlike Joram, who has 6 books on Amazon. The first book was 13 years ago, and the second book is called The Trail. I think I have copies here. By the way, DG has, I hope you read it. You read it. One word to tell everybody about this book.
It's a wonderful book, and I would strongly recommend that everyone should buy it.
Beautiful. DG, you're correcting DG. Somebody said, DG, one word. So, so I have this book. It's called The Trail. And let me give you a little bit of a background because here's where I've started my class. Many years ago, I used to live in a country called Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And I used to love hiking quite a lot. So we would climb mountains, hills and mountains. And the aim with the team I had was eventually we would climb the highest mountain in Malaysia. It's called Mount Kinabalu. And then after that, we would go to the beautiful land of Tanzania and climb Mount Wichi, Kilimanjaro. Of course, that never happened. But along the way, I learned a few lessons. That's why I wrote this book called The Trail. If you all know the trail is simply a pathway. So during the trail, there's a lot of things that happens. When we were climbing, we would pass through a muddy terrain. For those who have done hiking, for those who have done mount climbing, you know what I'm talking about, right? So muddy terrain, snakes, leeches, and a whole lot of other things. And so you have to navigate through them in order to get to the summit. So if it's a small hike, you hike for 7 hours, stay at the summit for 30 minutes, and descend for another 7 hours. Quite tiring. And so I equated that with the journey of leadership. Leadership is almost similar. You have to navigate through a muddy terrain, all right? And so that's why I wrote that book. Do we have a clicker? All right. Is there a technicality you need to show me? Okay, as he's showing me, please don't look at us. Look at your neighbor. Okay, beautiful. Fantastic. What did your neighbor say? You didn't talk to your neighbor. Look at you. Okay. Now, let's do a quick recap. I want you to find a partner. Look for a partner. Right now, we are young people, right? Look for a partner. You found a partner? Okay, I will tell you what to do with that partner later, okay? So, just a little bit about me. Okay, beautiful. Now, this is the book I told you about, and President Kikwete is the one who actually launched the book. He mentored me through the process, and I think he will be here one of these days. And so it's a wonderful book, all right? So look at this picture for a minute. Tell me, what do you see? Anybody? Malawi, are you here? So I'm going to hold your countries accountable. What do you see? Shout for me. Malawi, out. Kenya, what do you see? Out. Zambia. Somebody from Zambia, stand up and talk to me. Nobody. Tanzania. Okay. Oh, guys, hey, let's maintain peace and harmony. All right, what do you see? You see, that's all you see? Okay, good. Malawi, what do you see? Anybody else? Tanzania? Kenya? Mozambique? Okay. Tell me. You see one woman. How do you know she's a woman? How do you know they are men? Okay, good. Another person. Tell me. You see a bullseye. Where is the bull? Beautiful. Now, simply put, this is my illustration of what leadership is. Are we together? Now, because of time, I won't go into much details because my brother Joram has already laid a foundation. So the guy in a tie is more or less of a leader, and then there's a vision at the end, and then the people, basically that's the team that you lead. And the arrow looking like chain, that's like your tool. So whatever that guy is doing is what we call leadership functions. So you see, everything rises and falls on leadership. Because if that giant macho man lowers the chain, everybody in the team is going to collapse. True or not? So the ability to get to the vision is very much dependent on the strength of the macho man to hold the chain together. Are we together? Ask your neighbor, are you here? Or are you there? Now, you remember I told you, you look for a partner. Now, that partner you looked for, I give you 30 seconds. Talk. What is leadership? Discuss. Based on what Joram has taught, what did you understand? Like, what is your take home? Now, I want to see people talking. Because if you don't, I will point you out myself to speak on a microphone. Talk to that neighbor. What's the one take you took from Joram's presentation? What is leadership and who is a leader? Hello? ECSA, oe! When I say ECSA, oe, you say oe. ECSA, oe! Have you discussed with your friend? What did they say? Any volunteers? Okay. I saw that hand over there. Yes. So, okay, let's start here.
My name is Gloria Nanguni from Uganda. Joram said, if you're a leader, you should have a following. Like people should be able to see the impact of your work.
Let's give Gloria. Let's give Gloria a round of applause. And that's exactly what you see in that picture. Those people walking on a chain, that's your following. Are we together? Yes. Now, and who is a leader? I'm sure Joram touched on that. Now, everybody, with your partner, list down 3 qualities of an effective leader. Here is where I'm going to dwell. Very quickly, you can talk, you can list, whichever is convenient. This side is like you are sleeping. Are you guys discussing? Okay. 3 qualities. 3 qualities. And I'm going to ask, okay? 3 qualities. Thank you, Kiranja Wazam. Thank you. Thank you, Monitress, for helping me. 3 qualities. Are you discussing? Okay. Quality number 1, shout. Shout. Accountable. A lighted person. Exemplary. Another one?
Visionary.
Visionary. Thank you. Another one? Guys, we are young, so just speak. What? A good listener. Another one? What? Authentic. Another one? Handsome. Okay. Sorry. I didn't hear correctly. Now, just allow me to give you 3. Are you ready? Take your notebook, take your pen. Quality number 1, vision. Write it down. You need to have a vision. That's the bullseye you saw over there. Without a vision, I'm a firm believer of the Bible. The Bible says without vision, people perish. People cast off restraint. So if there's no vision in that relationship, it will die. If there is no vision in that organization, it will die. All right? So vision. Why vision? Vision gives you clarity. Vision gives you focus. And vision gives you consistency. 3 things. Clarity, focus, consistency. Are we together? Ask your partner, are you here or there? Now, a vision is not a wishful thinking. Hello? You can't just say, oh, that's a nice car, I like it. No, that's not a vision. That's a wishful thinking. And everybody's entitled to it. By the way, Panache, this is my suit. Tailor-made. I did not borrow. I did not borrow. That's vision. How do you know it's a vision? Number 1, a vision must be written down. This is why when you open a certain website of an organization, you see the vision, you see the mission. Number 2, a vision must be made plain. It has to be seen. I'm going to run. Please run with me. Number 4, you got to speak that vision out. That's number 3. Number 4, take the first step towards your vision. You are a leader. you can cry, you can write proposals, you can pray. After you have done all that, take the first step towards your vision. Why do we write visions down? Because we can forget. We're human beings. But number two, you may not live long enough to see the vision come to pass. Why do we make them plain? Because there is a principle that says whatever you constantly behold, you become. Hello? Number three, why do you speak it? Because there is a principle that says the power of life and death is in your. So if you can manage to speak your vision, it means you are creating life. Hello? And number four, you take the first step towards your vision, because Isaac, I think second or third law of motion states that a body will continue to remain at its original position unless an external force is exerted to it. That means if I leave this pointer over here, I guarantee you, if nobody touches it, if winds don't blow it away, the next 10 days we will find it here. True or not? So you can have a good vision, but if you don't move, nothing moves. Tell your neighbor, if you don't move, nothing moves. That's vision. By the way, much of what I'm teaching you today is found in my book. Number two, a leader needs knowledge. Listen to me very carefully. Young people. Hello? ECSA, oi! Listen to me. You can only speak and act to the level of your exposure. That means you can never speak more than what you know. In other words, the more you know, the more you can speak. So knowledge is important in your leadership capacity. What is knowledge? Knowledge is basically information that you receive through mentorship, through reading, through listening, through experience. You got to have knowledge. Why knowledge? Because knowledge gives you two things. Number one, knowledge gives you illumination. There's one leader in the Bible who said, the entrance of your word brings light. That's why we go to school, to gain knowledge, to remove, to eradicate stupidity. So knowledge brings light. Number two, knowledge brings comprehension. When you know something, it means your ability to comprehend becomes. Hello? So this is why you need knowledge. Where do you get knowledge? Read books. Shake your neighbor. Tell them, read books. Turn to the other person. Say, read books. Number two, you can have mentors. Okay? How many of you have mentors? My brother Joram wrote a book called Leadership and Mentorship. Mentors are very important because they have walked the mile you're about to walk. Hello? And number three, because of time, you have to have skills. Vision, knowledge, skills. So, there is a difference between knowledge and skill. Knowledge is mere information that you acquire. Skill, on the other hand, is this knowledge put into work over time. The difference between knowledge and skill is an element called time. Over the past 15 years, story. Shake your neighbor, say, if you don't respond, thunder will strike you. Story. You are scared of death, eh? Good. Now, I think this is the way we should go. If you don't respond, I threaten you. Anyways, one of the programs I love watching on TV is called Aircraft Disaster Investigation. This program shows, DG, all the aircrafts in the world that have had accidents. Why did they have accidents? What was done to prevent such accidents from happening again? To an extent, I even got phobia. I fly a lot, and I never got used to taking off and landing. I never got used to turbulence because of the much knowledge I have. So when I was coming from Johannesburg to Eswatini, my goodness, I even had to call the flight attendant and say, do you guys experience this every day? And she said, no, you know what? This is my 6th flight for the day. And I'm like, it's my first and I'm almost about to die. So every time this happens, I look at them. If they are calm, I'm calm. If the pilot says otherwise, I am also going to the spiritual realm to change a few things. Anyways, now, if you know, you know. So, knowledge is very important. But you now, as a leader, hello, ECSA, oi! You need now to be able to turn this knowledge into skill. Okay? So, I know a lot about aircrafts. I know a lot. In fact, I kid you not, DG, I kid you not, I can fly an aeroplane from Eswatini to Johannesburg, but with my mouth. I'm telling you, I can take you off using my mouth. You take off, you glide, you land. I can even serve a dish in the plane. I know the jargons. I know my way around. I have the tongue of the learned. I have the knowledge. But if you put me in a flight from Johannesburg to Eswatini, my friend, if you see me, don't enter that flight. Because even prayers will not save you. It's either we'll be able to take off, but we'll never be able to land. Do you get the point? Now, I have a friend of mine who flies one of our aircraft in Tanzania. When you hear me and him speak, you would think these are two pilots conversating. But one is an actual pilot who has put in the hours and has developed a flying skill, and another one is a fanatic. Do you get the point? I want you to change. Don't just end at vision. Don't just end at knowledge. Go out there and get them skills. Oh, that deserves a hand clap. Come on, guys. Oh, I feel the Holy Ghost in this place. Who can collect offering? People want money. Now, let me move quickly, okay? In the interest of time, I'm about, how many minutes do I, don't tell me. First impression is based, I think I'm almost done. First impression is based on these things. Now, I want to echo on what Joram spoke about public speaking. You are a leader. You need to remember, don't talk too much. Words only amount to 7%. 38% is the tone of voice. 55% is your body language. So, this is what I say. It's not just about what you say that matters. It is also how you say it. Hello? Everybody look at me. Everybody look at me. If your neighbor is not look at me, slap them. Oh, don't slap anybody. Look here. Let me give you an example that you will understand. Look here, everybody, look at me. Can you see me? I know I'm that black, but hey, black beauty. Now listen. It's not just about what you say that matters. It's also how you say it. If I come to you and I say, what's your name? Give me. Doctor? Dr. Sekube. Dr. Sekube. Imagine somebody comes to you and says, Doctor, I love you. I want to marry you. What would be your reaction?
I'd laugh.
You would laugh. I asked this question somewhere, and the lady said, I will slap the hell out of him. It's true, right? But imagine somebody comes to you, doctor. First they do like, doctor, you know, I see you in glass. When I drink water, I see you in the glass. When I sleep, I dream about you. I can't function. I even came to ECSA because of you. You know. Obviously, even if the guy is a liar, you will consider him, right? You will, right? Okay, there are people who say no, right? But there are people who say yes. Why? Because of the presentation, right? So it's not just what you say. Guys, I'm giving you a secret. It's also how you say it. So when you're a leader, you need to consider this. You are leading an organization, consider this. You are dealing with people, consider this. It's not just your words that matter. It's how you present them also, and the body language. Because imagine if I came here this morning and I'm speaking like this, like a robot, from beginning to the end. First of all, y'all will be surprised. Be like, what's wrong with this guy? Is he about to have a diarrhea? Why is he standing still? But look, I'm moving around, I'm engaging. This is what Joram was saying, right? You get the point? How many of you are going to change? Lift up your hands. Okay, good. I will pray for you. So this is the secret. These are what I call the 7 C's of communication. We don't have time to go through them. Take your phone, digital age, take a picture. Hello, take your phone, take a picture. We don't have time to go through them. Young people, get a picture you read later. Aya. Another thing is emotional intelligence. Time now, I'm racing against time. As a leader, emotional intelligence matters the most. Okay? Emotional intelligence, it's very important. We don't have time to go through it. But emotional intelligence is your ability to understand your emotions and be able to control them. Listen carefully. And also understand the emotions of those people that you are engaged with and be able to regulate them in order to channel that energy to gain the results that you want. That's emotional intelligence. Are we together? I'm racing against time. If you need more classes, please give me a call. I'll be happy to come to your country and we do this together. Hallelujah. Now, I will skip the leadership styles and approaches because of time, but these are all the things that I've written in my book. You need to be able to balance as a leader, cohesion versus influence. Leadership is not positional. Leadership is functional. It's not about you are the CEO, you are the director general, you are the so-and-so. It's not about that. This is why there are people appointed to positions of power, let's say ministers, and after some time, their appointment is nullified. It's not about power. It's not about positions. Leadership is the ability to perform your leadership functions timely and effectively. So you need to balance between cohesion and influence. Balance between push and pull. I would have given you a story. One day I was in Singapore, and there was a hotel. You know those doors that are written pull? You know them, right? Don't act like you have never pushed a door that was written pull, because you'll be a liar. So you need to know when to push, when to pull. One day, I kept pushing a door that was written pull. It was a glass door. The people inside looked at me like a fool. I was very embarrassed. And this is what happens when you're a leader and you push instead of pulling. You are embarrassing yourself. And you pull instead of pushing. You're going to embarrass yourself. Are we together? Anyways, also know about results versus people. Anyways, so we're going to rush. Look at this picture and tell me what you see. So we're talking about personal branding right now, connecting to leadership. Who is this guy? Diamond Platinums. Okay. Who is this guy? Donald Trump, right? Why are you laughing? Who is this guy? Speak louder, young people. Come on. Okay. What is this? How do you know this is Coca-Cola? Who told you? Who is this guy? Who is this guy, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, put your hands together for the DG. Come on, you can do better than that. Now, what comes to mind first when people hear your name? Tell that partner I gave you. When we hear your name, what comes to mind? Popping champagne? Clubbing at night? What comes to mind when people hear your name? What did they say? Now I want you to shout with me. Your name, your power. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. Now, what is personal branding? My people, it's not moving here. Personal branding is the way you package, the way you present, and the way you project yourself to the world. In other words, in Swahili we say hakuna mchawi. In English is no one is bewitching you. You are bewitching yourself. You have packaged, you have presented, and you have projected yourself the wrong way to the world. What you tell us who you are is what we are going to address you. So, if you want to change the way you are addressed and treated, change the way you package yourself. Oh, come on. Give God a big hand. It's not about being famous. It's about being trusted, recognized, and remembered. When you speak as a leader, deliver something that people can trust, recognize, and remember. Are we together? Shake your neighbor, say, are you here? Can we give this guy 2-3 more minutes to finish? Tell your neighbor that. Oh, time is up, eh? Okay. Jeff Bezos, you know this guy? He said, your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. That's your brand. What do people say about you? Now, let me conclude. We have quite a lot of things here, but I will just skip them. Let me give you elements of strong personal brand. Number one is clarity. I'll run quickly. Clarity. Be clear about yourself, about your purpose. Number two, consistency or congruency. All right? It's important. Your message and your behavior should align online and offline. Okay? Value. People follow you for what you give, not who you are. Okay? Are we together? Authenticity. Very important. Okay? Now, there are many things, but my time is not enough. So I'm gonna end here. But here's what I have here's what I have to say. You see, there's a lot of germ, but I have to respect time. Let's go to reflection. Time is up, guys. If you need me, you can get my number. We can talk more. Are we together? And I have to honor time so that next time I'll be invited. I don't want in the meetings, secretary say, no, that guy, you exceeded time. No, don't invite him again. No, guys, I respected time, please. DG. See now. Say, this guy's going to embarrass all the Tanzanians. So, I'm done. In 10 years, what will people say your name stands for in East, Central, and Southern Africa? You need to know this because you are busy posting naked photos online. You are busy using filters. There's a lady who used the filter and went for an interview. They said, no, it's not you. Said, no, but it's me. No, it's not you. But it's filter. Be authentic. Be scared of two things. Someone said this. God and technologia. Technologia. So your name is your signature in the digital age. Start shaping it intentionally. What you post, what you convey, how you dress, they matter. Somebody said last night, a young leader, do you think I don't go to clubs? Do you think I don't drink? But I never post them on social media. So this is a challenge I'm posing to you. You are free to do whatever you want, but you are also responsible as a leader to tell the world, to package yourself, to present and project to the world what the world needs to see. Are we together? Come on, put your hands together. Now I'm done. No, I'm not going to say anything else. I'm done. If you don't, what did I say? If you don't define your brand, the world will define it for you. And you may not like it. So take control of your narrative. Speak the way you need to speak. Do what you need to do. Are we together? Are we together? Now, please take your phone. Follow me on social media. And also follow Joram Nkumbi. Take your phone now. Follow me.